Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. Brought to you live from Silicon Valley, California. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks.
Brian, I can't get over the deep breath that you rev up with. It's like the high octane motor before the clutch pops, and then you let it rip.
I also had these guys entertained. They were like, most people just sit there deer into headlights. Right? Like, what the hell is happening here?
I'm hyped.
Tallulah's hyped. She's into it.
I know. I'm the hype guy, Tallulah. So you should be hyped.
All right.
All right. That's enough of that.
All right.
Hi, Brian. How you doing?
Good to see you.
No, you're not launching yet. You got to talk to me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I got to say, I mean, this is 2 weeks out from the show launch, but we had an event in Oakland as the Oakland chapter startup grind. We had over 400 people show up. It was remarkable. We're going to have more. So that was a huge event.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fun. So if you are a startup and you are looking to get platformed, get funded, get access to resources, we're going to be doing these events and we want you to show up. So I'll keep you posted on events to come.
Excellent.
You had a surprise though, Brian.
I just was looking at our stats and people ask, like how many people are listening. And of course, there's a few, but
my mom
also, what's that?
My mom is listening. Yeah. Mom. Hi, Mom.
But I wanted to give a little shout out to one of the, some of our listeners in a different country.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
番組をお聞きいただき誠にありがとうございます。
That's
心
Japanese.
より感謝申し上げます。
So to all of our faithful listeners in Japan, that is a big thank you from us, and with a little help from AI.
I love it. All right. Yeah, we are growing. We are in over 26 countries.
You speak Japan? You speak Japanese?
Yeah, a little bit. In fact, I started off with a lot of projects in Japan, so I used to introduce myself as Arigato gozaimasu. Etsuyo no computer wa senmon wa desu. Dozo ereshiku. Hi.
Wow.
Wow, your voice got really smooth. That was really good.
Yeah, totally. Very good.
Wow.
So anyway.
Tallulah, what you got one?
Oh, God. You can't put me on the spot like that. Arigato.
That's a good one.
I got to be careful.
I was also going to give a shout out, en stor mange tak til mine venner i Danmark, fordi de hører også vores show, og jeg er rigtig glad, at I er her.
Awesome.
Nice,
Jeg kan
Brian.
snakke dansk.
Ja, kan du? Nej, det kan du ikke.
I went to school there for 6 months when I was a teenager.
As an
family in
exchange,
Denmark.
for a college here, or you didn't go to Hoya school, did you?
No, it was before high school. So
Yeah,
I was young.
oh, wow.
I can only say nonsense in Danish, which I won't put on your podcast.
I think we would love it. Just give me a little bit of nonsense. Just to
It would be on par.
I can say, jeg hælder de, fordi du har ikke næse.
Jeg hælder de.
I think it means I hate you because you don't have a nose.
Jeg hælder dig.
Those good old high school one-liners.
Yeah, and when I was there, I learned, jeg har no rollknapper på en af mine ben. I have some red dots on my
Nice,
leg.
Brian.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I was just in Denmark, so I was kind of thinking, I'm watching it, and people are there listening, right? We got listeners in Denmark, we got all over the world.
Yeah.
So, okay, Brian, why are we here?
Nice.
What's the
Well,
purpose
we're
of being
here is English as a second language, but I want to welcome everybody to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of this show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact within your own. All right.
I think one day we got to get everybody on board to say that all together like a chorus.
Yeah.
Okay.
All four of us.
We'll
We
warm
can
it up.
try that
Ready.
now.
Do it again.
All right. You all got to hit the within your own.
Within your own. We're
Yeah,
all
you'll
coming in
feel
on
it.
within
You'll
your
feel
own.
it. Okay, here we go again. All right. Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of the show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact
Within your own.
Oh, nice, guys. Wow, good job.
The audience loves it. All right. On with the show, Ryan.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right. So one little message before we do get started. I want to remind everybody to get your tickets now for the IIT conference in Long Beach. It's happening in April. Go to IIT iit2026 actually.org, and check out the big conference that is going on down there. AJ Thomas and myself will be the hosts for the 4-day marathon of great speakers, networking, events, and workshops. So check that out. We'll be bringing more to you as the months get closer, but for now, we got two great people in the house. You've heard their personalities already. We've got PK in the house and Tallulah. Good to see you both. PK, buddy.
Brian, thank you so much for having me, and it's such a pleasure, and I'm extremely grateful to you. And also, I'm looking forward to the discussion with Tallulah as well. So
it's gonna be fun. Well, I know you, we know you, but let our audience know a little bit about your name, who you are, what you're working on, because Brian, I don't do bios. I just introduce great people to other great people. So give a little intro.
Let me try. My name is a bit of a tongue twister, so I go by PK, P for Peter, K for Kingmaker. Who doesn't want a kingmaker or a rainmaker in our lives?
I like that.
Yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been a corporate executive for a very long period, almost 2.5 decades. I learned, but I do now serve on multiple boards, and that's what I do during weekdays, and weekends I teach what I learned during the weekdays, and kind of feed back and feed forward into that cycle.
And where do you teach? Give a little shout out.
I'm an adjunct professor and guru with Great Learning, which is a delivery partner for UT Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. And I'm also the chair and served as a chair. Now I serve as on the Judiciary Committee for University of Southern California for the medical competition.
Nice.
S8.
And what's your sweet spot in terms of topics you love to teach?
Right now I'm teaching AI, cloud computing, managed services, the convergence of all that to save companies a lot of money, and also help them make more money, because right now there is a lot of challenges around AI. I want to make AI safe, responsible, and empathetic, because otherwise it's going to, people say good things and bad things about AI. It's just a tool. And if you use it responsibly, you can make a lot of money. And if you can make AI a friend and get the job done, why make an enemy out of it? So that's my sweet spot.
I love it. And you brought a whole stack of books. These are yours, or they're here to keep the papers from flying away? Would you bring in with you?
For both purposes. I can start off with this one, and then we can get into more details.
We'll unpack it real quick. But you brought 3, but generally these are all your books, right?
These are all my books.
Okay,
that's correct.
All right.
Yeah, I can show you my.
Professor PK, hold it up. Just like that. That's great. Thank you.
The Comedy of Errors. Two editions, or is it the same one?
We got a thick one and two smaller Comedy of Errors.
Yeah, that's a textbook, and this is straight from the heart. And I'll give you the background. If people who want to read a lot, they can read that. It's going to put them to sleep.
Meaning a textbook, yeah.
Yeah, that's a textbook. And if they want some light banter, and if you're traveling from Chicago to New York or someplace, and you want something that lifts up your spirit, then you read this one.
Go with that. Okay, so we'll unpack those a little bit as the show goes on. But I definitely want to bring in Tallulah. Thanks for coming down. And let me say this, Brian, both these two, I think collectively this is the furthest multiple guests have come from. I mean, PK, you came from the Sacramento area, is that correct?
Yes.
Sacramento area. And Tallulah, you came from Marin, right?
Yeah, North Bay.
Yeah. I mean, considering if you live in the Bay Area, that's quite a drive. I mean, we've had people who flew in for this one, but collectively, I think this is the biggest distance. Okay,
fair.
Little point out there. All right.
Nice.
All right, Tallulah.
And you're all worth it.
Oh,
I was fishing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was fishing.
Even just the intro alone.
Landed it.
It's just 2 hours and 10 minutes of drive time.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I love it. Thank you for being here. I love it. Okay. Well, Tallulah, give a little intro about what you're working on to our guests who haven't had a chance to meet you yet.
Sure. And by the way, so excited to hear PK's intro, because I think we overlap both on the AI side and then some of the where you mentioned empathy and responsibility. And so myself, my world is AI, as it's becoming this ubiquitous term. I'm a investor, advisor, speaker on those topics. On the invest side, I'm a partner at an investment management firm called Fifth Era. We invest in frontier tech, and I lead our AI strategy there. But I also spent a career of about a decade, first as a management consultant, so working with large enterprises on digital and data strategy. A lot of AI strategy. It was more machine learning then, but nothing like the flurry of enterprise AI activity we're seeing now, which would be interesting to dive into that. And my obsession, passion, well, I guess after the consulting career, I worked directly with AI scale-ups and growth companies and often took fractional COO roles. So I was in the heart of the ecosystem. But my obsession and passion, and this talk I give on the case for hope in the age of AI, is all the intersection of the technology with human flourishing, human potential topics, the psychology of how we use it, what it means for the future of how we interact, relate, behave, work, love, play.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I hardly get to see people's resonate on the empathetic side of AI.
Oh, massively.
So what does that mean? Let's dive right into that, because I think we can all geek out on that. So we're talking about empathetic side of AI. What does that mean to you two? And I'll just kind of fade away, let you two go at it. But where do we start with that? Can you give a little definition of what that means, PK? And then Tallulah, jump right in.
AI is not new. Just to give a little bit of a historic, it started off several decades ago as statistics, math and statistics, finding patterns. About 15, 20 years ago, it transformed itself into machine learning. Last 8 years or so, the neural networks have become very strong in terms of mathematical computation using TensorFlow networks. So it become artificial intelligence, because it's now able to graduate itself from being a baby to an adolescent. Right now it's an adolescent stage. So it will do a lot of mistakes. So, and it will hallucinate like all adults do. But then eventually it's going to grow up. But in this process, I've been in this business for 3 decades. What I've seen is this technology was used for good, bad, and ugly reasons as well. It is up to us to figure it out, how to use them in the most constructive fashion so it benefits everybody. So that's broadly the background. Specifically, 6 years ago, I wrote a paper with Stanford on 2 papers. One is the long form question answer system, a new method and metrics, which kind of become a benchmark. A lot of industry folks in the industry use it. But I also parallelly wrote, along with the powerful paper, wrote the dark side of AI. 6 years ago, I didn't have to do that. I just put in that extra effort so that we have to understand that the negative side of AI is going to come through, the dark side, and better be prepared. And prediction, most of it has actually come true.
So dark side.
The dark side.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about it.
Excellent. Give you an example. So if you're tweeting or putting a tweet out, and you're in an airport, there are 2 set of passengers. The flight got delayed. You are tweeting saying, "What the heck this airline is doing? I got to be somewhere else, and they can't get me a seat." Right? Another person says, "The flight got delayed. I wish I could get on. They can get me a connecting flight as soon as possible." Now, as an AI engine, it will pick up the negative tweet and give it more importance, because the objective of an organization is to reduce the noise level of the person who's complaining and using bad words or abusive words, to bring that noise so that the reputational management of that particular organization is kept within the permissible limit. So the person who abused would get a ticket, most likely to get a ticket, compared to another person who was very polite and just expresses displeasure in a polite term. This is because of 2 reasons. 1, the data itself is biased. 2, the rules being set is bring the KRA set to the teams are bring down the noise.
Okay, so this is interesting. We can go anywhere with this now. So this is the dark side, but go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah,
and
if you have a human being in the loop, they would at least moderate it. If you give it to AI, it's not empathetic.
Okay.
It will just go right after all those guys who used abusive terms or really disappointed, disgruntled, because the objective is to customer relationship management objective is to bring down that noise level down.
Interesting. Tallulah, do you have something?
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. The way, so I frame it similarly as well. Like, this is a very old technology. The term was coined in the 50s, but it's new in the inflection point it's reaching. So in the sense of it being new, it's similar. If you look at the internet as a really good parallel to draw, because in the early 2000s, there was massive moral panic about the internet as well. It was all dark web, spam, porn. Can I say that word on the podcast?
You can say anything you want.
Okay.
Viewer discretion is advised.
There you go. There's your sound effects.
It's true, right? And so in the early use cases of the internet and the way that we were interfacing with it were completely less than ideal. And that's what you'll see now with AI, with, since 2022-3, with the launch of these huge foundation model players like ChatGPT onto the scene, everyone's suddenly interacting with it. And so of course, experimental use cases or adoption is not going to be ideal when also safety and security and all these things are lagging behind, as they always do with innovation. Mm-hmm. Like cars didn't have seatbelts originally, and airplanes didn't have weather monitoring systems. And so it's all true. People say, it's not safe, it's not secure, there's a dark side to it, et cetera, et cetera. It's all true. And that very much could remain the trajectory, as you say. And this is where we're at this really crucial moment where we have a choice. And and we can go into lots of details about everything. In my view, everything it's disruptive to is something that is ripe for disruption. Like the jobs that it replaces, people talk about the, fear about a possible future dystopia or the runaway AI problem of losing control of machines, or just the fact that there will be a transition in the job market, et cetera, et cetera. And for any one of those things, I go, yeah, but what is it disruptive to? Like, today we wake up and spend our time on a small screen, and then we go to work and we're on a medium-sized screen, and then we go home to chill and we look at a big screen. And it's like we're disconnected from our bodies, we're disconnected from nature, we're disconnected from community. And it's not as straightforward as saying, this will free us up to unlock all of that again. But you can certainly ask the question, because most of the jobs that it replaces are either manual processing or things that can and probably should be automated, because it doesn't dignify human experience to. Whoa.
Yeah,
I like that.
It
doesn't dignify the human experience that we spend all day sedentary at a cubicle, hunched over our screens.
But this idea of small screen to mid-sized screen to large screen,
right,
which I am guilty of, surely, along with everybody I know. I mean, when you put it so plainly and right in front of us like that, it's like, oh,
of course.
My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people don't think about that. It's very natural. Our amygdala, right? It's designed to fear the unknown, and it's unknown. But it's not the first time humanity's evolved massively. We used to be hunter-gatherers. Mm-hmm. You think we could have fathomed the skyscrapers and the cubicles and the screens today? We couldn't. And so similarly, we can't fathom what's to come, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad thing.
So let's go back to this idea of this growing empathy within AI.
Yeah, empathy, yeah.
Empathy in AI. And so if we're kind of in this adolescent state with the AI, do you think what is next is now a more precise, empathetic experience with AI that will almost...
I need you to start that question over, please.
Why?
Sorry.
That sounded so good to me.
I wasn't completely following, and I'm afraid maybe other people in the audience weren't following.
Okay, so we're getting back to this idea, this evolution of AI, and as PK said, we're kind of in this adolescent stage. It's been around for decades, and now as it evolves, we're at this inflection point. Does it become more of an empathetic tool than it's previously been?
You say an empathetic tool, but what I think you mean is an empathetic entity. I mean, and that's a massive
well, let's
difference.
kick it out there.
A tool is something that
Absolutely.
we use.
Yeah.
But an entity is something that doesn't need somebody to guide it or command it or provide any kind of...
Okay, Brian, but I got to
structure
say this. That may provoke... I mean, okay, I'm going to just be on the complete margin here. I think a lot of people don't know AI like our guests know AI, like a lot of our audience know AI. And so there's this unknown, and we're trying to make sure it's in the right container rather than there's this fear of, it's an entity that's going to, it's going to be the Terminator. It's going to take over the world. It's going to steal my stuff. But it's really a tool.
Yeah.
AI is a tool. Let's call it what it is.
I can help out on that very important point that you raised, Brian. We love what we understand. Today, we think ChatGPT is AI. Or a tool is AI. It is not. If we have to demystify that, that's why it's important to understand these three components: statistics, machine learning, and AI. Statistics. Nobody's afraid of statistics because it's just numbers, percentages.
Like a calculator? Yeah, I hate it. I agree. Tallulah, me and you. I'm a comm major here.
Well, I think Mark Twain was afraid of statistics.
Mark Twain was afraid of statistics. Yes. He was also had this wise wisdom, a pearl of wisdom, which is a cat that's sat on an hot stove will never sit on an hot stove, but will never sit on a cold stove either, because it thinks all stove is hot. The moment we have certain fear of statistics or math, we kind of move away from it. It's because we love what we understand. The more we understand, there'll be affinity. Many times we have a fear of math because our math teacher was not making that subject that much more easier for the students to fall in love with it. Because if you fall in love with it, you can crack that. Nothing is difficult. There's nothing in this world is difficult. There is so everything can be mastered. It just requires a little bit more time. The difficult one takes a little bit more time. Talking about AI is in simple terms. If you actually take any set of data, even in a statistical world, you need to get at least 30 sample sets. 30 sets for you to form a pattern in it. Because without the 30 observations, you can find patterns in statistics. Now, machine learning took that from 30 to 3 million. Now, AI is now able to manage with trillions of parameters. That means its ability to handle data points and find patterns within that. It's now far exceeding what a human being can possibly do. If we give a task to AI, it's able to do much, much, much better than a human being does. So for the first time, AI has crossed the threshold of what a human can do and what a machine can be made to do. You can have your Tesla car auto drive itself, point A to point B, without even touching it. And if it drives faster than a human being, tomorrow, human being driving a car on the highway will become illegal.
It should. We're so much worse drivers than if you had all self-driving cars, right?
Correct. So that's a good way of using AI. Okay. There is a negative way of using the AI, is to tell the swarm of drones, go kill people.
Yeah, the warfare applications of AI.
Warfare applications of the AI. So you can use the same tech. AI is just a tool. What it does is it helps you identify patterns within large set of data gamuts. Now, interesting part of this is ultimately boils down to one interesting fact. If you take any observation and plot them on X and Y axis, you'll find an axis right in the middle which doesn't change. It's called the slow moving dimension or a non-moving dimension. It is also referred to as the invisible axis called the eigenvector. So if you distribute any data on an X or Y or a Z or any, you'll find another axis around which all the data will rotate. All the observations will rotate. There is one axis doesn't rotate. That's the beauty of any data that you take it and plot it. You will always be able to find one axis. Those who can find that axis are the winners. That's what machine learning does. That is what even statistical regression analysis does. That's what AI does. The key is who gets to find that axis faster, win. That's the whole, that you can win because you can predict the next word, like in Grammarly. You can predict the next picture. You can predict everything because it's able to find the pattern which is most likely to be the next pattern. Because you now found the secret sauce, the mathematical function that allows you to find y is equal to mx plus c was very simple linear algorithm. Now it can handle trillions of parameters. So you can go to that level of extent. It can find out if you give me your bank data, don't have to give it to me, or your trading data, I'll be able to exactly figure out and tell you what is the trade that you're most likely to buy 2 weeks from now. It's inside your brain.
Okay.
But it's a pattern.
Can it stop me from buying? Okay, never mind. All right. So go ahead, Tallulah. Yeah.
Well, I just have 2 thoughts to add on AI and empathy. One is about empathy of the tool, and one's about human empathy in AI-enabled world. I think, so when ChatGPT 5 came out recently, did you guys hear about this?
Yes.
There's a lot of people in uproar because it didn't have the same tone, kind of personalized intimacy. Like it didn't have the same voice that people had become used to interfacing with GPT-4. And so, and this was a huge wake-up moment that we're still, I mean, this was very recent, but everyone's been using AI for efficiency and productivity. Those are the tools they're building, right? We talk about enterprise AI, where they're using it to reduce costs and also drive top-line growth and all these things. But people went, oh my gosh, people don't want AI to be more efficient and productive. Well, they do. But what they really got connected to and desire is to be seen, heard, validated by a tool that has become an infinite number of role that it plays in individual lives, whether it's like coach, mirror to reflect off, brainstorming, companion, sidekick, And so there's hundreds now of new use cases that need to be built for, and not just by technologists and technical engineers and people who understand that side of the equation, but by people who deeply understand the humanity side as well and understand psychology and human empathy. And so that's very exciting. And it's almost entire industries will rise up around this. It's the same way at the dawn of the internet, we couldn't have imagined the scale of social media or e-commerce, for example, or the fact that we would be on Zoom calls on videos. Like we couldn't fathom that. We knew we could kind of do emails and access information more quickly. Similarly, we're very early, and there will be but in my view, that intersection of AI and humanity and these things will be where new industries arise. And then the second point, so that's one, but the second, there's this, and again, I talk about this in my talk, but people say, oh, AI is making us less intelligent because we cognitively offload to it. And that's a problem because there is bias, and AI makes decisions based on publicly available data, which is only 10% of data that there is. The other 90% is private or behind firewalls and things like this, which is a whole nother interesting discussion. But I would say, yes, we do, we will offload we've designed a tool that's going to be far more intelligent than us, and it will outpace human intelligence and have its own form of intelligence that, again, we can't fathom. But is that a bad thing? So humans, our intelligence has been our evolutionary advantage, and that's why we've honed in on it so much, because it's, what's allowed us to innovate and get to the stage that we are at now. But at what cost? Again, we're so disconnected from our physical bodies, from the fact that we're animal beings first. And there are other innate human traits like empathy, self-inquiry, creativity, imagination, relating, intuition that fall at the wayside when you worship at the altar of the mind constantly. We spend our whole life up here in this part of our human experience. And so I think it's a great potential, and there's already interesting use cases in companies that are exploring this. Is AI as a tool to get us more in touch with our own empathy, and you can have agents that tools that listen into conversations, and they could tell us on this podcast, like, how trustful is our dialogue, how empathetic am I being versus you, Brian, versus you, PK, and feed that back to you. That's just one example.
You said real quick before we get too far away from this, you said you have a talk coming up. What is the focus of your talk? And without spoiling the whole thing.
I'm spoiling lots of it already.
Yeah. What's the focus?
Well,
I'm already thinking in terms of how can I listen to your next podcast, because this is the topic that you're talking about is very exciting as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's called, I was speaking to someone about this and being excited about it, and they said, can you do a talk? And I said, sure, why not? So I developed one. It's called The Case for Hope in the Age of AI, and I gave it in London a few weeks ago, and I'm giving it in San Francisco with Big Brain SF tomorrow evening in the city. There's you guys can all come, but there's no tickets for whoever it might be. It will be up on YouTube.
Okay.
It'll be on YouTube. The London one's already on there.
By the time this is released, which will be 1 week from the recording, it should be up on YouTube, and they can find it there.
So. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get the show notes from you and put the link when we release this.
Thank you.
But let's talk about this hope. We did a talk the other day at our event. It was talent versus AI. And so now we have, the human capacity to create, to think. It's who we are. And now we have AI coming along. Where is the line? It's clearly being blurred at this point between the need for human talent to come in and do certain things and AI. Where are we now, if we kind of take this from a generic perspective? Where are we at in that, I guess that...
The job transition?
Yeah.
That is not going to be a transition. It's going to be a fall off the edge.
It's going to be a cliff.
It's going to be a cliff.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not going to be a transition.
Let's kick the hornet's nest. Go ahead, PK. Let it rip.
Okay. First, AI is just a tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. If people tell you that it's going to take your job away, no. Okay. AI is not going to take your job away. It's just a technology. It's just a tool. Ababa, people who use AI are going to take the jobs away from other people who don't use AI. Not only the jobs and opportunities, they're going to take your lunch, dinner, and the next day breakfast and wipe the plate clean. That's what's going to happen. And that's going to happen.
Okay, say that again, because I loved how you summarized that. It's not AI that's going to take the jobs. It's the people who use it that will take your job.
The hybrid.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the people. AI is not going to take your job away. It's just a tool, like any tool. It's like saying cars are going to take my job away. No, it's just a tool. If you're going to compete in an era where you have a car and another person is in a bullock cart, who do you think will survive? Who do you think will be more productive? So the question ultimately boils down to who is more productive? A person who is using AI or another person who is not using AI? Now in this game, it essentially turns out into be a game theory unless we add the secret ingredient, which is empathy. Because the winner is going to take all. Unless you add the catalyst of empathy, safe, responsible, fair, then it becomes sustainable. Because otherwise, the few will take everything. And then the society will have haves and have-nots. But it's going to skew. The few will hold a lot, and then the many will hold less. That as a system unsustainable throughout history. If you want a sustainable system, it has to find a balance. That is why the amygdala that you mentioned inside the brain, for somebody, it has absolutely no purpose. It has absolutely no purpose. The prefrontal cortex has purpose. The medulla oblongata has purposes. The various hemispheres, gyri, sulci has purposes. But why the amygdala? It's essentially an emotional center. It makes us human. It makes us consider the needs of another person, to share that bread. Okay, that needs to be put into AI now. If we do not do that, then it's going to take the people who are going to use AI are going to take the lunch, dinner, and the next day breakfast, wipe the plate clean of those who don't. Why? Because on one end, the productivity levels are exponential. It is not even the comparison between a guy in a car and a bullock cart. No. It's a comparison between somebody who can't even have mobility problem to somebody who can run, not even run, it can go different places much faster with effortlessly. So sorry, I don't know whether I answered your question.
No, that's super interesting. So you're comparing it to the I love the analogy. It's we all can walk, we all can run, we can all move, reasonably with our bodies, but AI is like, now, do you choose to get in a car and drive? Right. And so there are those who choose to drive with AI or continue to walk. And so that's the tool. The automobile is the tool. AI is the tool to get you there quicker. And so now there's this component of, my next question would be, well, how do we stay up on it? Right now we're in a boom of technology, and it can be overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, I just had can I add some thoughts about job? Because I agree with a lot of what you said, but my outlook is also, because I understand why.
Tallulah, can I just take 10 seconds on the question that you had?
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? Through education.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to come back because we're going to talk about the books that you both are writing.
I agree. So, but with jobs, if you look at some of the statistics from the WEF, World Economic Forum, that publish about this, it's actually much more of a gradual evolution than we think. And I think Goldman Sachs looked at peak unemployment effect, and they anticipate it will only be 0.5 points, which if you compare it to the economic recession of 2011-12 was 5 points or something. And in COVID, it was 11 because a lot of people got furloughed or laid off like almost overnight, right? So 0.5 is very gradual. And it's because of what you said, that a lot of it will be this gradual shift, and there will be, and as many jobs as it displaces, which is expected to be something 70 million worldwide by 2030, but it's anticipated to create 160, 70 million new jobs. It's like a net 90 or something. I'm not doing the right math, and don't quote me on those statistics. I told you statistics are not my thing. But it's going to create entirely new industries and roles and career ladders where people are working with AI to do certain things rather than entirely replacing them, and new industries like what we just mentioned about. So we all understand why there's a lot of fear, and it makes complete sense, but it will actually be very gradual. But I completely agree. The main thing that companies and others need to be thinking about. And there are companies and governments thinking about how to support people through the job transition, which includes helping them get literate on AI and understand what this technology is, how to use it, what it means for whatever role or industry they're in, bridge the capabilities gap, and helping transition them. And then you get into, you were sort of, PK, you were sort of talking about how this will unequally impact certain areas, and the gains and the benefits of AI will be unequally felt by a certain group of people unless we do something about it. And that's where you get into really interesting discussions about things like universal basic income.
Let's do this, because I definitely want to talk about two things. We're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to talk, when we come back, I want to continue this conversation about how do we educate ourselves? What do we focus on? With everything being kind of, I'm just going to call it, it's kind of messy right now. It's evolving from different, perspectives. It's being applied in different ways. It's like the wild, wild west of tech again, like when the dot-com boom took off. And then I also want to talk a little bit about investing in AI. Do we wait till the dust settles? I'm just learning English today, Brian. Dust settles. Or do we take advantage of opportunities now? So we'll talk about those two things when we come back. Brian, take us to break. Are we live?
We are now live.
Okay, all right. It's time for the snap out of my nap time. Okay, all right. We're back. We're here with PK and Tallulah, and we were having a conversation before going to break about AI, getting deep into it. Brian.
Oh, I was just going to say, during break, PK wanted to launch into something which I know I could see by the look on his face. It was going to be interesting. And I said,
not now.
Say whatever you're going to
bottle
say.
it, PK.
Save that gold.
Well, I want to repeat it as he said it, Brian. The way he said it was, Brian, you had a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can take credit for your question? Wow.
Let's just,
around to you, Brian.
we got these two geniuses here. I just want to let everyone know that I am carrying a little bit of the load here, right?
That's right. You're doing a great job.
Thanks,
Brian.
buddy. Yeah.
Couldn't do without
Everybody really
you.
loves you.
It's fishing,
Yeah.
as I usually do. All right. PK, go ahead.
You talked about an important part, which is education. Part of my effort is also I spend 5 days in industry, and then what I learn in the industry I share to busy executives during the weekends. Last 8 months I trained over 4,000 executives who don't have time. Education plays a huge part to getting ourselves comfortable with that concept, understand, so that we can love it.
So let me summarize what you just said for our audience, which I think is really interesting. You go out into the world, you observe, you go to your stomping grounds, whatever it is you go, you absorb what's going on, how things are changing. I mean, within the week.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
All right, I got to reel it back in. Thanks. So you go out into the real world, assess what's going on, and then bring it to the executives and then bring them up to speed.
That's correct. Because it actually helps both ways. You take the learning. Okay. This world is full of doers who can teach and teachers who can do. For 3 decades, I tried to break that mold. What I learned, because doers can teach not because they don't have the knowledge. They have tremendous amount of knowledge, but they don't have the patience. Like what Brian was mentioning, most of the CEOs do have ADHD. They are high performers because they have certain amount of attention deficiency, but they can, what they focus on, they can get it done. They're very good at it, but they don't have patience. You go and ask basic question to help them out. They simply don't have the patience. Teachers have tons of patience. They have a lot of patience, but they don't have the industry exposure. So part of my dedication is to be able to take knowledge from the industry, share it with academia. And during that effort, there's a lot of question comes up as well. And then take the knowledge back into the industry. So it kind of cross-pollinate that and creates a positive feedback loop.
You're the coach of coaches. I mean, that's true in sports, right? I mean, I love sports where it's like the best coaches weren't the best players. And the best players don't necessarily make the best coaches.
Totally different skill set.
Yeah. But I mean, there seems to be a parallel there is where you now go out and you assess what all the doers, I mean, I may be completely wrong here, are doing, and then you go and share more with the high-level doers as a teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I have a question for you
Sure.
about education. and AI in education? Because you said you're a professor too, right? So, because AI is very disruptive to education and academia as it stands, the model, right? Because you have kids using ChatGPT and other tools, which then there's all these concerns about plagiarism and cheating and all these things, right? I, again, have a hopeful outlook because I think academia as a model is ripe for disruption. Again, it's been the same for centuries, like sage on a stage, passive listening, learn by listening, where we just sit there. How many people, maybe you took French for 12 years. Do people actually speak it after that time? Because it's not how we learn, right? Like we learn languages very quickly as toddlers when we're immersed in it and we're forced to speak and we're forced to learn by doing, not learn by listening. And, so I think a hybrid AI form of learning where it's not just about, right now we really incentivize having knowledge. But instead of now, there's a tool that's far more intelligent, has all the knowledge, you have it at your fingertips. So it's not knowing the information, it's what you do with the information, how you apply it. And I'm curious your view on that, because you both teach it, but you're in academia. And like, what do you see?
Guess what I'm the professor for? Applied AI.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, because the research part of the AI, I did spend several years. But then if you want to make the best impact, it has to be applied AI. Because when you apply and help people make money or save money and make them more productive, that's when actually you get deep impact as well. And the secret sauce to that process is to add empathy into it. And that's my signature programs that I do. In fact, last week I was in Menlo College in Bay Area, Atherton, the richest zip code anywhere in the world. The focus of the students were how do we make empathetic AI, safe AI, responsible AI.
How do they code it? How do they engineer it into the models themselves? So we code it before it codes us in a way that has empathy and all these things embedded.
Yes. Example, you talked about recruitment process, right? Today, AI is being used for recruitment purposes. So if you give a requirement, find me a CEO for my business. Dad wants to take retirement or something, right? When you search for that, what do you think AI is going to give you the response back? It's going to give you a list of CVs of all the men.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any qualified women in the database. It's not going to pick it. If you do not put empathy into that process, it's going to, because the data is previously biased. Look at all the CEOs. 95% all CEOs are men. So
that's such an interesting.
Did I answer that part of the question in terms of why?
Well, yeah.
Apply it correctly with empathy in it.
Yeah, but it's
PK, you said your students ask you, how do we build empathy into AI?
Correct.
I didn't hear the answer.
Okay. There are different ways of doing that. First, removing bias. Garbage in is garbage out. For AI, it goes through two processes. One is the training and second is the inferencing. In training, it needs data. That is, you need to give it data, and that data should not have biases in it. Should not have intrinsic or extrinsic data that's going to corrupt the model that comes out of it. So think of it, AI as like a mold. Data is the new oil and AI is oil rig. And you basically take that oil out of that. You need to have the best rig, and the rig should not have mold in it. Then it's going to destroy the quality of the oil that's going to come out of it. And so that means that the data that you're going to feed in needs to be good quality data without biases in it. Post that, you also have to set the right kind of rules. For example, love and affection, attention, appreciation, a general feeling of empathy, sympathy. And these are aspects that are not trained into existing models.
They're
not trained into most people.
Well, I think that what's trained into most models and most people in this country anyway is, how do I make more money? How do I get the upper hand? How am I able to advance my own interests?
Brian, absolutely, you're spot on. You're so spot on. It is to make money while being empathetic. I think that pathway requires that clarity. You can still make a lot of money. For example, we do two types of productivity improvement for enterprises. One, improve the productivity of enterprises, also improve the productivity of your employees. It is not two different things. If you help both your employees become productive, also the organizational process more productive. If you don't do that, if you asymmetrically only focus on how do I replace these guys and make money, then that becomes an empathetic solution. If you focus your effort on how do I make sure my staff's personal productivity as well as the office productivity both can improve, that's when you will outperform another entity which is singularly focused towards office productivity.
Tallulah, I know you had a few things you want to add to that.
It goes back to the point you were making about what do you do when about bias and inferences and in the way the models are coded. As I mentioned before, all the big foundation model players right now are built and making decisions and inferences based on publicly available data, which is only 10% of data in the world. So this is such a fascinating conversation. It's like a new gold rush where data is the land and ownership of data will determine a lot. 90% of data in the world's behind firewalls, or it's privately owned, or it's like research papers and studies and things like this. But even then, those things have bias in them. Like so I have a personal trainer certification just as like a fun side thing but I realized at some point, and I did a lot of functional strength training and all these sorts of things, but then I stopped when I realized all the studies about progressive overload training and how you should weightlift are based on studies for men. And they're not built on actually what's right for the female body. And it's just one example, right? And there's a really good book a lot of people know about called Invisible Women, just on that point alone, which is like most of the way the world's designed, et cetera. So even when you get access to the private data, you don't necessarily answer the question. So what I get really excited about now is solutions people are building that can, in my view, the only solution to this is the models and the agents and the AI solutions that are making decisions on our behalf have to be trained on, the data and information of the real people, like of real humans, with all their nuance and complexity and ever-changing context. And so there's really cool solutions being built around context and memory and how to securely store that and have it real-time updated, leveraging blockchain technologies and things like this, but really cool, hopeful, promising.
Well, from the perspective of while you have the mic, Tallulah, from the perspective of an investor, knowing the infirmities of the data and what to invest in, how does an investor make a decision in terms of what is something to get involved with or not? How are you assessing the tools that are going to be around for a while, not just be displaced in 3 months from now?
Yeah. And you also asked about investing, like should people invest in it now or not?
Yeah.
Which is so, I guess, context on our firm, the strategy has always been invest with the best. So we partner with VCs that are pure play in any of the technology areas we invest in, including AI. And so it's sort of a fund to funds model.
I was going to say, it was a fund to funds. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're early stage, so pre-seed, seed, and A exclusively. We invest with them. And so in some ways they're diligencing. A lot of the time in early stage, it's really the team. It's like, are they really high quality builders, technical expert, or maybe formerly exited founders who've done this before and that's kind of a lot of the criteria versus, and so we partner with them, and then in later stage we do direct deals but that's when you have enough time to be able to look for signals and see if this is possibly an emerging unicorn and then come directly onto the cap table in a B or C round. So that's our strategy. So it's not, I personally don't spend a lot of time looking at individual deals of companies to invest in. What I would say, the biggest trend in the short term and what was in enterprise AI. It is, because every organization is adopting AI again, right across the organization, every function, et cetera. But the issue is, and it's so funny because when I was a consultant, it's always been the problem, is big companies get really excited about new tech and they want to go away and acquire a ton of licenses and, they get excited, like that's a really cool solution. And so they spend a lot of money bringing these solutions in without having actually done the strategic, like step back, where's the real value, the value pools within the organization, where's the need, what do our internal customers, i.e. our employees, really need, and our external customers, and thinking it through strategically first before ever, buying a license to trial something out. And so I don't know if you guys saw this MIT report about none of these big corporates are seeing any ROI from AI. And it's like, yeah, that's true. And also to be completely expected, A, early on, and B, when I'm sure a lot of them invested in these kind of wrapper solutions sitting on top of a LLM, because they don't, it's hard for them to be able to diligence what's valid. They just say, oh yeah, that solves a problem I think I have. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another, if I may add, another interesting point, the purpose of any business, what's the purpose of a business? The purpose of any business is to produce this residual return called profits. They are dedicated towards their shareholders' interest, and that is how it should be. No deviation from that. That's the focus. While doing that, how do you do that in a fashion where it's sustainable? And in fact, adding productivity to organization, not at the cost of the productivity of its employees and staff, can actually grow the company 10x faster than just having a monochromatic view of just profit. Because end of the day, it's a people business. People do business with people. If we lose trust, you can grow that business. So AI with empathy can actually help that process. We work with a lot of
give me an example of that with AI that could be help.
Give you an example. So we work with enterprises for their caseload management. So quite a bit of, like, for example, 3,000 odd cases that they need to process. It becomes difficult for them to have people do that because you have to, there's a lot of work and quite a bit of difficult to get that job done. So the way it starts up with, I do a workshop, help them identify 3 types of work: the lion work, the tiger work, the donkey work.
Ooh.
The lion work.
Like in the animals.
Yeah, exactly. So because it becomes easier for them to understand. Because if you come and ask them AI, they're going to feel threatened. If you tell them, look, do you like to sit and do fee schedule management, calculate numerically what is the fee schedule in New York for a particular region 4, go through 300-page document to open up the document?
No.
No lawyer want to do it, no paralegal guy want to do it, no enterprise guy want to do it. So identifying those donkey work from the tiger work and the lion work. The donkey work is the easier one to solve. Saves a lot of money. Nobody wants to do it. AI can do the job.
Right. No one wanted to
empathetic, powerful use of AI. Next, that's the first part of the answer, Brian. Then there are the tiger work and the lion work. Do you guys want to know a little bit on that?
Know.
You know, if you look at lion, tiger is easy to understand, right? Tiger, one thing tiger does, a tiger or tigress does, if you observe the National Geographic Channel, it never hunts together. It hunts alone.
Tigers are
versus
they're
I think
lone
I know where
wolf.
this
versus
is
the
going.
lion. The lion is, in fact, in lion,
the tribe.
In fact, the lion doesn't hunt.
The lioness does.
The lionesses
the lionesses
the
hunt
lionesses
together.
hunt. They hunt in a pride, in a group. Tiger hunts alone. Many times, some of our work, we also do donkey work, we also do tiger work, we also do lion work. There are some work only you can do it, Brian. You can only do it, Brian 1, Brian 2, and Tulu. You can do what he's doing. He can do what you're doing. I can do what you're doing. So you guys, so we have to know that's our sweet spot. That's our tigress or tiger work. There are some work where you can become a lion work, where the lionesses do the hunt. We can come and make one big noise and then go and grab it. And after you're done, you can move away so that everybody can eat it. And I'm just giving you. This is not entirely fully applicable in the human world, but it has certain parallel. You have to get other people to do your work as well. Mm-hmm. It's actually sometimes managing that itself is not managing a pride is not easy. The donkey work. If in an organization is aware how much of donkey work is being done and taking 60 days to get a caseload, we are processing 60 days worth of caseload in just 6 days. Donkey work.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's really
saves money, saves time, is empathetic, sitting there and doing manual job. Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like, that doesn't dignify the human experience to be doing donkey work like that. And Correct. If there's a potential for us not to have to do it, then I would say great. Did anyone when they were a kid want to sit on a computer and manually enter data into a screen all day? I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. Maybe. Yeah, I can give you one more example as well, Brian. Radiology centers. I serve on the board of a radiology company. AI powered. no parent, no person wants to go work in a radiology center. Because why? It's radiology.
It's bad for you. It's dangerous, right?
Yeah, radiation.
Is it?
Radiation. You don't want to go and work in a radiology center. You do it because it's part of your arc, right? I mean, no mother or no father says, "Oh, you could when you grow up, you have to go and work in a radiology center." And there are some within that space that are good work. There are certain areas which is not good. That's all AI can take it and do it.
Or like deep sea oil refining, or there's a lot of examples of things. That,
And use that, and not to get into replacing farmers. That's not a good area to use AI.
Yeah.
I got a question on this. So there are people who are doing data entry. They're doing that because probably they maybe don't have enough of an education to move up higher than that, or there's something keeping them at that level. Maybe it's motivation or ability or whatever the reasons are. But if AI is taking the donkey work out of the workforce, I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing those kind of donkey work that are currently in those donkey work positions. And I'm hearing sort of a little bit of a contrast here, where there's not going to be this big, massive layoff of people, but all those positions that are currently the donkey work positions, if you will, if AI is able to manage those positions, I still don't understand what happens to those people.
Donkeys turned into stallions and they're off to the races.
That gives you the transitionary period that we talked about. If you do it responsibly, it gives you time, and time is money, but time also gives you ability to learn new stuff, because people will figure it out. We have neural plasticity. We didn't come this far in our life without evolving ourselves with millennials of challenges. We'll figure it out. What we need is time. That transition of removing the donkey work is a good place to start. It helps everyone to make money. It also gives time to focus on tiger work.
And also, can I just add, you said like you can't imagine, you can't fathom it. That's exactly normal. Because if you go back to the eras of human evolution again, like hunter-gatherers to agrarians, industrial era, information era, throughout all of those, we could not have fathomed the ones to come. Hunter-gatherers couldn't have imagined 90% of us would be farmers. Farmers couldn't, industrial revolution and this 40 and 9 to 5 way of working, we couldn't have fathomed that again as hunter-gatherers. We couldn't have, and the information era where we still work the 9 to 5, 40 and model, but just on screens. There's a really interesting, in my talk, I look at these paintings by French artists in the 1900s where they were trying to envision what life in 2000 would have been like. And there were some things that were interesting. I won't spoil it because that's one of my favorite parts of the talk. But there's this image of people flying and they're delivering physical mail. So they were like, oh, we'll be able to fly, but they could not have fathomed email. You know what I mean? And so similarly, of course, you're like, things are going to disappear. And because I can't imagine what comes next, I'm scared and I don't like it. But things will come next. Entirely new industries, entirely new possibilities and opportunities. I don't know what they are. I could hypothesize, but I don't think any of us do.
Yeah. There's a big rabbit hole to go down on this. I mean, before we start to wind down, I know there's a lot to talk about. I definitely want to ask you guys, what's next? What are you excited about, and what is it you love about what's going on in your neck of the woods when it comes to your professional position? Tallulah, I'll start with you first. Like, what are you excited about with what's coming? Why do you love doing what you're doing, and what's kind of top of mind for you as you kind of look forward?
Yeah, well, two things. With my investor hat on, and you asked this question, which I didn't answer, like, is this a good time? I think this will be the greatest value generation opportunity of our lifetime.
Yeah.
It's the same way that the internet transformed everything we do and the way that we engage with the world. AI will be the same. And there's also, I love working this space because there's a humility of even the top GPs and experts working these VCs and across the field who have been in it for decades, like yourself. There's a humility of we can't imagine too far out into the future. And I love that. I love being at that edge with those people who are so deeply intelligent. And I'm really excited about the humanity side of the technology equation and all these type of conversations, and to kind of flag bear with a vision of hope, because I truly think we get to decide right now. And we are where focus goes, energy flows. So we're much more likely to create whatever we spend our time envisioning, whether it's the dystopian, fearful, runaway AI, slaves to the machine scenario, or whether it's something deeply hopeful and optimistic that returns and unlocks human potential and human flourishing. We get to choose. It could be either, but where we focus our energy will go and flow. And I choose the latter.
And what's next for you specifically? What are you working on? Because you got the talks.
Yes.
Did you say something about a book earlier?
Yeah, I'm turning the talk into a book. Now that I said it on the podcast, it makes me really
now you're committed. Yeah.
We're raising. So we're raising a investment vehicle into early stage AI right now. And so that's my main focus alongside this other, that allows me the engagement in the ecosystem to be able to talk about this whole other side of the equation.
I know, a lot to cover. That was great. I love it. And we'll come back to you. I want to definitely let our audience know how to connect with you. But before we get to that, PK, what are you excited about? What is it that you love about what you're working on? And what's kind of top of mind for you as we get to wind down here?
Two biggest focus area for me right now is asset monetization. Many organizations sitting on top of mountain of a gold mine of opportunities, and they all have to transform. Otherwise, they will become obsolete. So that's the area I help them monetize those assets, existing assets, whether it's process, business, technology. If I have to kind of simplify that, there are technologies which is used to build systems. Systems power process. Processes drive the business. Business operates in the marketplace to be competitive. The stack that they currently have is obsolete. They use AI like a salt and pepper on top of it. That dish is spoiled already. That asset is pretty old. And so I take care of monetization of that end, connecting dots, opening doors, closing deals. That's my area of specialization. And there is a lot of money being made in that space. And that's and adding empathy and regulatory compliance. Otherwise, many of these organizations, because of the past issues and biases and all that, they're getting into lawsuits and stuff like that. So,
and can I add really quick? I mean, I find that really interesting. Yeah, businesses must transform or perish, pretty much.
Yeah.
But people who are listening, people who are inside the organization, we were saying earlier, they've got to transform and educate themselves. Yeah. So I would say that was 1A. Did you have a second one? Or was that it?
So that's the second part, which is educate, because you can do business innovations and all that innovation, unless otherwise you do people management correct, you're not going to be able to get it right. You got to carry people along. End of the day, a grass and a sequoia seedling starts at the same point, but give it time. The sequoia basically grows into a big tree. The grass remains at the bottom. Even a sequoia seedling, if it decides to behave like a grass, will still stay at the stunted growth. But guess what? What gets eaten first? The grass. But if the sequoia seedlings also remains to be of the same shape, it will also get eaten first. It's important for us to grow. When you grow, you're talking about monetization and transforming the organization. That is because if a personal transformation happens, they don't become a threat to themselves.
Yeah, I want to add something you said earlier. We were talking about monetization. Why are businesses, why are they out there? And they're to make money. And you started to allude, but I want to double click on it. Businesses are in business to solve a problem. If you're just in it to make money, oftentimes you'll miss the problem that needs to be solved. You'll miss the market who has the pain. And I think that comes full circle to the importance of empathy. Correct. Is that we can't just make money for money's sake. We have to make money because we're solving a problem. And when you put that human element first, or remember to put the human element first, now we're putting empathy, personal development, and people back out in front. And we're not so afraid of then the technology that comes along to aid us in that understanding.
Yeah. Again, a beautiful point. But what happens is most organizations are run by finance guys. It's difficult to sell that. But you can easily sell, hey, I can give you IRR, ROI, even private equity. You take huge amount of risk. Why? You got huge amount of returns. Otherwise, you just keep the money in stocks and be happy with it. You want multiple returns for the investment dollars that you make. No question. That's the focus of any business should be. What makes it sustainable over a long period of time is that element of empathy into that process. You don't have to add any other ingredient. That ingredient alone is sufficient because you are empathetic to your customer, you're empathetic to your employees, you're empathetic to everybody.
There it is.
Starting with their needs and pain points.
Exactly. So, Tallulah, for both of you, before we wind down, what's a good way for people to get connected with you?
Right now, my LinkedIn's probably the easiest one-stop shop for everything. My website's linked on there, which is TallulahLeMerle.com, but it's needs to be updated.
Okay, so updates.
Websites. So I think LinkedIn.
Okay.
If that is a
Spell
grunt,
my complex name in there.
if that is a grunt work, give it to our AI. I got an agent to.
You got a donkey for that?
Yeah, I got a donkey.
I know it doesn't. My world's moving so fast, my website can't keep up with it. But you're right. You're right. I should walk the walk with the AI support on that front.
We can help you with that, empathetically.
Yeah. So whether it's investing or hope or something in between.
I love how you're playing to the camera right now.
I love the camera.
Yeah.
I'm all about the camera.
The camera also loves
The camera is forever. Can you do Zoom?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, you're on. That's you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Add me.
All right. PK, what about you?
I'm going to be finishing off writing 2 more books. One is actually Jack and Jill Went Up the Business Hill.
Ooh.
It's a very interesting story of how 2 folks meet after a decade of working in different industries. Have a lot of pride and ego and lack of humility, and how when the connecting flight gets cancelled, and how they lower the ego and decide to work together and solve each other's problem, and then go their way, different way, and then thankful about that meeting.
I know in your intro we started talking about your books, but is there something that you wanted to kind
Should I hold up one again?
Yeah, did you want to?
This is my credit to my grandma.
Should I display one here?
I like the barbell situation happening here.
So it says, this for people listening, it says a comedy of errors, and it's upside down. And you have the same thing, right? This is volume 1, volume 2, possibly?
Well, mine's a secret handbook on managerial techniques and tactics.
Yeah. I can. There's an interesting story behind that. Can I show it to you?
Yes.
So
Thank you.
So this one was my boss would not promote me. I would not tell the name of the organization.
And say it for the people who are listening. That the one you're talking about
this one, he would not promote me. So he said, "Oh, I'll promote you if you." I become famous coming to the US and closed a lot of deals. And so when I went back, he became a little jealousy. So he said, "No, I'm not going to promote you." But the client promoted me twice. I said, "No, you're starting from where you left a year ago." I said, "What should I do to get myself promoted?" "You make me also famous, then we'll consider it." I said, "Okay." I went so I had my my grandma's wisdom there, which says, be empathetic, because I could leave the job and go to another employer. I said, no, you got to stay and then prove yourself. She gave me this, always remember the 3 lessons: study well, travel the world, don't listen to idiots.
Amen.
Okay. So I said, okay. So
Put that on a loop, Brian. Yeah, don't listen to idiots. You got that for a sound effect coming up? All right. And so the book you're holding up, PK, is The Comedy of Errors.
That's my boss. I didn't put the actual picture. Just a caricature.
The one holding the barbell. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like look carefully. He's not the one who's holding the barbell. Yeah. It's my other friend and myself. My cubicle number is also there. So we essentially, that's what people do. We do all the hard work.
Some people are listening; they're not watching, so that's why I'm trying to trying to describe what you're holding up there. So there's 2 similar books: Comedy of Errors. One has the race car with no tires on it, and the other one has the guy lifting barbells. Okay, and then you have a textbook that you're putting your life's worth of knowledge in.
Yeah. So this is so I'm working on my other 2 books. So this is part of my weekend effort.
And how can people get these? Are they on Amazon?
They are on Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank both of you for being here. Did you want to say one more thing about the book?
Yeah, one more thing. That's also a national bestseller. So this is there's only 1 copy left. So it's $155, and that's only $5. So
These are $5. Okay, and you can read them on the airplane.
On the airplane.
All right, Tallulah, PK, thank you so much for coming today. Loved your insight, loved your wisdom, loved having you here.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks
see
so much.
everybody next
Thank
week.
you.
Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.